Okay, so welcome again on next video of this Indian polity, and we are doing different topics in Indian polity, and now we are going for evolution of Indian Constitution. So what we are going to study in the evolution of Indian Constitution is, like I told you, know, Indian Constitution was evolved when the British started ruling our country. When the British started making laws in our country, then our constitution started evolving. So British came to our country as a traders in the beginning, but in after battle of Buxar, after battle of Plassey and Buxar, they started ruling the country. They got Diwani rights from Nawab of Bengal, and they started ruling the country. So first document with which British started ruling our country was Regulating Act 1773. And from the Regulating Act 1773 to Indian Independence Act 1947, then there were so many laws or so many legislations British made for us, and our constitution is basically the result of all these laws also, because 60% of whatever we see in our constitution today, that was part of your Government of India Act 1935. So let's go for some kind of chronology. What chronology we have in British India? So approximately, say 1600 May, they British came as traders. They never came to India to rule the country in the beginning. They came as trader, and then after some 150 years, what happened? They grew in power. The kings and emperors in India, their powers reduced, and British kept on gathering the power. You know how they defeated Rajputs and Peshwas and Tipu Sultan and everybody they defeated, and then after Nawab of Bengal and even Mughals, and that is how they came to the power. So Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, these two are the very significant battles, after which there was nobody in India to stop British, and they started ruling the country directly. 1765 May, they got Diwani right. You know what is the meaning of Diwani? Diwani means revenue and civil administration. Revenue collection and little bit civil administration key powers they took from Bengal province. And when we say Bengal province, it is made up of Bengal, Bihar, Orissa as of now. So they took the Diwani right. Now these dates are important because of the history. So though we are studying the polity as a subject, but it has ramification in the history also. So historically these dates are important for us. So who was the that time in company, who was the official of the company winning these wars for British? So that was Robert Clive. At that time, government of Britain was not involved. British government was not involved. It was the East India Company which was involved, because East India Company took some kind of permission from the Queen Elizabeth, and they came to India for the trade, and then they became powerful. And then when they became very powerful, that entire India was with them. So British decided as a government, okay, now let's rule this country and exploit it more. So Robert Clive started a dual government in Bengal. Dual government जो start हुआ था, Robert Clive ने किया था after he obtained Diwani rights. So British East India Company became the territorial power. Territorial power means acquiring the territory also. Earlier, East India Company used to work in the factories. Surat became the first factory of British when they took the permission of trading from Mughals, and then after that they became now territorial power also. So 1857 में क्या हुआ? Sepoy mutiny. You understand that revolt हुआ. Bahadur Shah Jafar of Mughal, last Mughal emperor, became the leader of this 1857 revolt, and we know Jhansi Ki Rani and everything we know. 1857 revolt, and after that, after the revolt, no doubt British suppressed the revolt, but British government decided that no, company cannot handle this country, let's start ruling this country directly. So British government overtook from the company, and company to crown start हो गया. Crown means king or queen. So rule किसका start हो गया? King or queen का. And in 1947 we got independence from British. So if I see the political development, of British rule in India, it is divided into two parts. One part is when they were ruling as basically East India Company, and second when they were ruling as British government. So let's see this at the time of Emperor Jahangir, Mughal Emperor Jahangir. At that time, you know, uh, granted the farman. Farman means permission to Captain William Hawkin and Thomas Roe. These are the two guys. You need to remember the name of British who established a factory at Surat. They took the permission from Jahangir. So which Mughal emperor? Jahangir. किस मुगल एम्परर के कोर्ट में पहली बार ब्रिटिश आए? जहांगीर. और कौन थे वो ब्रिटिश? हॉकिन एंड थॉमस रो. दे विजिटेड द कोर्ट और वहां पे उन्होंने फैक्ट्री, पहली फैक्ट्री कहां पे लगाई? सूरत में लगाई. और किस कंपनी को परमिशन मिला था और किस किंग और क्वीन से मिला था? क्वीन एलिजाबेथ वन से उनको परमिशन मिला था. दिस इज पिक्टोरियल डायग्राम ऑफ सूरत की फैक्ट्री जहां पे ये लोग काम करते थे, अपना ट्रेड करते थे. ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का लोगो यू कैन सी. And this company is also known as Honorable East India Company या East India Trading Company या English East India Company या British East India Company and John Company also. It was also called John Company और Company बहादुर. John Watts ने इसको create किया था. Now these two battles I was telling you, they were the decisive battle. ये हम हिस्ट्री में पढ़ेंगे. लेकिन आफ्टर दीज टू बैटल ब्रिटिश बिकेम द सुप्रीम पावर इन द कंट्री. देयर वाज नोबडी टू डिफीट देम एंड आफ्टर दैट दे स्टार्टेड रूलिंग द कंट्री. सो इफ समबडी आस्क यू when British became territorial power and started ruling the country directly, that was after Battle of Buxar. Before that they were only trading company. They were fighting but they never thought of ruling the country to acquire the territory and all. Battle of Plassey, 23rd June 1757. Battle of Buxar, 1764, 22nd October. And the Battle of Plassey was very decisive victory because it was between Nawab of Bengal and along with him, French allies were also there. Under the leadership of Robert Clive was the company's official who defeated this British basically he defeated the Nawab of Bengal and all. Sirajuddaulah was commander in chief, Mir Jafar Ali Khan. So this basically there was some kind of fight between Mir Jafar and Sirajuddaulah, and because of that tussle, you know, British always used to go for डिवाइड एंड रूल. सो दिस बैटल ऑफ प्लासी का डिटेल हम लोग पढ़ेंगे हिस्ट्री में. दिस इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट एज ऑफ नाउ फॉर यू टू रिमेंबर, बट ओनली थिंग यू नीड टू रिमेंबर इज के ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का हाउ द पॉलिटिकल करियर स्टार्टेड आफ्टर दीज टू डिसिसिव वॉर्स. सेम बैटल ऑफ बक्सर जो फाइट किया गया था ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी, तो हु वाज रूलिंग ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी that time? Hector Munro was ruling East India Company, and there was Mir Qasim, Nawab of Bengal. Mir Jafar was made Nawab of Bengal for second time by the company because Mir Jafar supported these British during the war. So this is how Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar were found, and after that the East India Company became very, very powerful. So these two details I will be discussing in the history. As of now, dates of the wars only you have to remember. Okay, now let's go forward and see what was the can you see this Bengal province? Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. If I add these two, it was the Bengal province, and it was a very rich province, you know. Awadh, O-U-D-H also it is called. Awadh province is a Uttar Pradesh, present day Uttar Pradesh. This Bengal province was very prosperous because of the Ganga Brahmaputra delta, and it was very fertile land. It was very, very basically prosperous area, and British had in Calcutta their factory, and Calcutta was their I think till 1911 Calcutta was their capital, and only after 1911 they shifted to New Delhi or Delhi, right? So based upon these things, you know, based upon the agreement, so this Alam, Shah Alam, that is a Mughal emperor Shah Alam, he gave East India Company the Diwani right to collect the tax on behalf of emperor in Bengal province. So what was the Diwani right, and East India Company got Diwani right from whom? As I told you, that Mughal emperor and Nawab of Bengal were fighting against British in Battle of Buxar. So when British defeated them in Battle of Buxar, so Mughal emperor Shah Alam was forced to give the revenue collection power, which is called Diwani right, to East India Company, and in the Bengal province, not in entire India but Bengal province, and that is how they started ruling Bengal province. revenue they used to collect it, and that was the purpose. They were in India to exploit or to collect the revenue only. Now the era of dual government started. You know, there was a treaty of Allahabad. Robert Clive signed the treaty of Allahabad after Buxar battle. Robert Clive signed this treaty, and as per this treaty, dual government will start in Bengal. Revenue collection work will be done by British. Dual system of administration. Company will acquire the real power, and Nawab of Bengal will do the administration. So policing or law and order maintain karna, this all activities will be done by Nawab. Under dual government, company will get Diwani role, that is revenue collection, and civil administration functions also will be done. And this basically some law and order maintaining activities will be done by the Nawab himself. So dual government means there will be two governments in the province, Bengal province. Money collection, some civil administration activity which is called Diwani will be done by the East India Company. So that was the main thing, and all the troubles, law and order, policing system, that let the Nawab handle. So it was very exploitative thing, no? So एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन क्या आएगा, डुअल गवर्नमेंट कौन से प्रोविंस में स्टार्ट हुआ, बंगाल प्रोविंस में. आफ्टर विच वार, बैटल ऑफ बक्सर. हु साइंड दिस, Robert Clive as East India Company, and what treaty name is that? Treaty of Allahabad is known as that particular treaty. And Diwani right they got from which Mughal emperor? They got the Diwani right from Mughal emperor, that his name is Shah Alam. Okay, now as I told you, as far as the political growth of British rule in India is concerned, कैसे कैसे political growth हुआ, so that can be divided into two parts. And this is one of the very important topic now. British government, British के दो पार्ट में हमने डिवाइड किया रूल को. एक जब वो कंपनी एज अ ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी रूल कर रहे थे, एंड 1857 के बाद जब ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्टली स्टार्टेड रूलिंग. सो व्हाट वर द मेन इंपॉर्टेंट लॉस ड्यूरिंग ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी? एंड कंपनी वाज रूलिंग एज अ टेरिटोरियल पावर फ्रॉम 1773, regulating act 1773 to 1858. That was the rule of company. So company came out with some kind of legislations, regulating act 1773, Pitt's India Act 1784, Charter Act 1833, Charter Act 1853. So these four, and in each you need to remember 2 or 3 important points. That's it for exam. So in each you need to remember 2 or 3 points. Let me go for first, regulating act 1773. This was the first step of British government to control the affairs of East India Company. You know, it was not East India Company which wanted these act or regulations. It was British government which was telling the company that you come out with some kind of rule and regulation. If you want to become territorial power, or if you want to rule that country, you should have something, documentation, no? So that was British government was telling the East India Company, and company came out with this regulating act. British government recognized company as political power now, and British administration started getting centralized. I tell you the meaning of centralized. You know, out of 4 metropolitan cities in India today, Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta, they were 3 presidency towns. They were called presidency towns. There used to be governor ruling these presidency towns of British. Delhi was not presidency town. So all these coastal towns, cities, coastal areas like Calcutta, Bombay and Madras, they were the presidencies. So they were having governors. Now there was no chief of them. So now from this regulating act 1773, first time Governor General of Bengal post was created. Governor General of India nahi, Governor General of Bengal. Lord Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of Bengal. Of India nahi, वो William Bentinck थे. So Warren Hastings became first Governor General of Bengal, and governors of Bombay and Madras were kept subordinate to the Governor General of Bengal. That was the meaning of it. So governors of Bombay and Madras presidency were made his subordinates. So centralized administration start हुआ. What more important things related to this is that the Supreme Court was established at Calcutta in 1774, and Court of Directors was a Court of Director as a body was created to control the affairs of company created. So Court of Directors, British government made it Court of Directors, and Court of Directors were to control. जैसे Board of Directors होता है ना आजकल, Board of Directors, तो Board of Directors नहीं, किसी कंपनी का Court of Director बनाया गया था ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को कंट्रोल करने के लिए. So what are the most important things in regulating act 1773? सबसे important act which you need to remember is this. सबसे important thing about this, Governor General of Bengal, Lord Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of Bengal. That is the second thing. And then executive, he was इसको एडवाइज करने के लिए इनका एक एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल बनाया गया था. You know, in now of more such legislations, you will see that Governor General, and बाद में उसका एक नाम after 1857 was given Viceroy. So Governor General or Viceroy were having two councils, एक executive council और एक legislative council. Executive council was like cabinet, they used to advise them, and legislative council was like parliament, जो आज पार्लियामेंट काम करती है. इवन टुडे द पार्लियामेंट प्रेसिडेंट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, प्रेसिडेंट एंड देन टू हाउसेस ऑफ पार्लियामेंट. So similarly, Council of Ministers is the executive body for President of India today. So think of President of India as Governor General, let us say, and President of India को advise, aid and advise करने के लिए there is a Council of Minister headed by Prime Minister. So Council of Minister is executive body बन गया उनका. And similarly, जो law making body है वो है legislature, वो है Parliament. तो that time Governor General के लिए एक executive council was created to advise him, and 4 members were there. Later on we will see legislative council was also created. So what you need to remember in this regulating act 1773, this is the most important. Governor became Governor General of Bengal, Lord Warren Hastings. This is the Supreme Court of Calcutta, the building which you can see. And you know, Warren Hastings was very basically capable fellow, and he created the judicial plan. He created the judicial plan, and we will talk about Warren Hastings later on, that how Warren Hastings, what were the various activities of Warren Hastings, and he was very basically capable fellow as far as the creation of judicial system was concerned. Second is Pitt's India Act 1784, not very important, but most important thing is Board of Control was created. Court of Director was already there. Court of Director was to talk about commercial activities of the company. कंपनी के कमर्शियल पार्ट को कौन हैंडल करेगा? कोर्ट ऑफ डायरेक्टर. और बोर्ड ऑफ कंट्रोल किसको हैंडल करेगा? पॉलिटिकल अफेयर्स ऑफ द basically company will to be handled by board of control. So there were two bodies created, one court of director created in this, and one board of control created in Pitt's Act. Company property now was called British possession in India. So British started controlling more the affair of the company. Not very important act, I think, but this is the more important act than Pitt's Act. Let's go to Charter Act 1833. What is the most important part of Charter Act 1833? Now, the centralization of British rule in India. Centralization. Okay, let the power be at the center. Even today, India की power center कहाँ पे है? Delhi. Prime Minister sits there, Parliament is there, Chief Justice of India is there. So उसी तरीके से centralization started in 1773 and it became maximum in 1833. Why? Because Governor General of Bengal was now made Governor General of India. First Governor General of India was Lord William Bentinck, and Government of India was a term now which came into existence. पहले तो India था ही नहीं. पहले तो it was divided into various presidency towns or princely states, but now India as a term came. So Government of India term came with 1833, this particular Charter Act. So commercial activities of East India Company were now stopped by British government, and it now became totally ruling or administrative body. Can you see some of the diagrams here? These diagrams. What do you think is this? These diagrams. Somebody is dying and somebody is put on the flames. This process is called Sati Pratha. You know, we will talk about this in the history. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who is called modern man of India, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he was the person highly against Sati Pratha. And why I am talking about Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Sati as a particular system here? Because William Bentinck was the reformer who basically banned Sati in India because of the request of social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So think of William Bentinck, first Governor General of India. Think of Sati Pratha and Raja Ram Mohan Roy also. What was Charter Act 1853 now? Now the legislative and executive council of Governor General were separated. गवर्नर जनरल का एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल एंड लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल. पहले एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल ओनली वाज मेकिंग लॉ. You know, suppose Prime Minister and Council of Ministers starts making law also. Can they make law? Answer is President of India can make law even today. That is basically his power. That is ordinance making power, it is called. You will see that in politics we will discuss. President can make law, but that is during the time when Parliament is not in session. So that means executive, that means Council of Minister, Cabinet or Prime Minister or President, they can make laws also, but not if Parliament is in session. But at that time, executive council, we saw executive body, they used to make law, but now legislative wing was separated. Legislative wing was separated. So legislative council now, which worked as a mini parliament, was created. So Indian legislative council think of parliament. प्रोविंशियल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल थिंक ऑफ स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज. इंडिया में अभी भी प्रोविंशियल मतलब स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज हैं जिसमें एमएलए होते हैं एंड सेंटर के अंदर पार्लियामेंट है. ब्रिटिश के टाइम पे भी देयर वाज अ इंडियन लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल जो सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल थी एंड प्रोविंशियल प्रोविंस के अंदर लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल्स. सो एज ऑफ नाउ इन 1853 लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल्स वर क्रिएटेड इन द सेंटर टू हेल्प टू एड एंड एडवाइज द गवर्नर जनरल. ओपन कंपटीशन, यस. सिविल सर्विसेज जो आईएएस एग्जाम है उसकी स्टोरी कब स्टार्ट होती है आईएएस एग्जाम की? उनको कोविनेंटेड या वेरी प्रेस्टिजियस सिविल सर्विसेज बोलते थे. वो ओपन कंपटीशन के थ्रू कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम इंट्रोड्यूस हो गया. बिफोर दैट दे वर एडमिटेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर मेरिट सर्टिफिकेट्स और समथिंग. बट ओपन कंपटीशन कब से इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ? 1854 से ओपन कंपटीशन इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ एंड मकॉले कमेटी रिकमेंडेड दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग. सो थिंक ऑफ आईएएस एग्जाम, सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जाम introduced in 1854, competitive exam and Macaulay recommendation, right? So first time, you know, Indian legislative council जो थी उसमें लोकल प्रोविंशियल लोगों की नॉमिनेशन होना स्टार्ट हुआ. लोकल और प्रोविंशियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट हुई. सम लोकल पीपल स्टार्टेड getting into Indian legislative council. Not very important data here. लॉर्ड मकॉले को ये ध्यान से पढ़ना. वट एवर लॉर्ड मकॉले इज सेइंग, लॉर्ड मकॉले इज सेइंग दैट आई हैव ट्रेवल्ड अक्रॉस इंडिया. इंडिया मस्त कंट्री है. देयर इज नो चोरी, नो ठगी. इंडियंस आर जीनियस, दे आर वेरी कैपेबल एंड दे फील प्राउड ऑफ देयर ओन लैंग्वेज एंड कल्चर. तो जब तक इंडियन अपनी लैंग्वेज और कल्चर में प्राउड फील करते रहेंगे हम उस कंट्री को विन नहीं कर सकते. वी नीड टू टेल देम दैट यू आर इंफीरियर, देन ओनली वी कैन रूल दिस कंट्री. तो इंफीरियर कॉम्प्लेक्स इंडियंस में कैसे डालना है? तो देन दे सेड ओके, चेंज द एजुकेशन सिस्टम. आज भी आप जानते हो ना कि इंग्लिश को सुपीरियर लैंग्वेज माना जाता है और हिंदी और बाकियों को सुपीरियर. दो हिंदी इज अ लैंग्वेज ओनली, इंग्लिश इज अ लैंग्वेज ओनली. ये माइंड सेट कब से डेवलप हुआ है? ये उस टाइम से डेवलप हुआ है व्हेन दे स्टार्टेड बेसिकली टीचिंग इंग्लिश इंटेंशनल. सो मकॉले वाज द पर्सन हु केम विद सम काइंड ऑफ एजुकेशन सिस्टम. इसको रीड करना. मकॉले, ओपन कंपटीशन, सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जाम एंड लेजिस्लेटिव एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव विंग्स वर सेपरेटेड. Okay, can you see this now? What is happening? Okay, Sepoy mutiny, 1857 revolt, झांसी की रानी. You understand? 1857 में लोग परेशान हो चुके थे ब्रिटिश से. डलहौजी, when I will discuss with you, इंडियन प्रिंसली स्टेट्स जो इंडियन राजा थे उस टाइम पे वो परेशान हो गए थे ब्रिटिश से, बिकॉज ब्रिटिश वर टेकिंग देयर टेरिटरीज. तो इतने परेशान हो गए कि उन्होंने एक रीजन ढूंढा एंड एक सिपाहियों की म्यूटिनी हो गई, उन्होंने विद्रोह कर दिया and that spread in north part of India, somewhere around Delhi only. Bahadur Shah Jafar became the leader of revolt and 1857 revolt took place. Company was ruling that time. So after that company से rule directly किसने ले लिया? British government ने ले लिया. And now the next legislations were made by British, not company. Government of India Act 1858, Council Act Indian 92, Indian Council Act 1909. They are very, very important. You know, this was 1857 revolt, which British obviously could control, but after that company rule was abolished and British government started ruling the country directly. Bahadur Shah Jafar was the last emperor of Mughal who was poet also and who was not very, I'll say, he was not in power, most of his life he was not in power, but he was made the leader of revolt. This I will discuss with you in the history, that which places pe who was the leader and who was suppressed by which British or company executive. Like Delhi mein Bahadur Shah Jafar and this जो general थे Khan, he was aiding Bahadur Shah Jafar, and Nicholson ने control कर लिया था इनको, that he overpowered them. कानपुर, नाना साहेब, बेगम हजरत महल, लक्ष्मीबाई, कुंवर सिंह, लियाकत अली, and Khan Bahadur. So all these people were the leader of revolt at that time, and they were the Lakshmibai Hug Rose ने उनको defeat किया था. So these were the executives or the company official and the leader of the revolt. Not important here, but in history we will see that. Now, what was Government of India Act 1858? It was a result of basically revolt of 1857. Revolt हुआ क्यों था? People were not happy with British. Now, Government of India Act 1858 wanted to make people happy. So this act was called Act for Good Governance in India, Act of Good Government in India. British now promised that we are going to give you good government. British decided that एक तो East India Company को खत्म करना है. So this most important part of Government of India Act 1858 was that let's abolish East India Company. It should not be there. Second, British decided that now we will not expand into princely states. Let them rule. Our purpose is economic exploitation. हम तो revenue exploit करने वाले हैं. वो हमारा purpose है. तो we will keep on doing that. India is to be governed in the name of king or queen. Her Majesty government. It was called now. So it was a direct rule of crown. Governor General was given one more designation, that is Viceroy, and Viceroy will be the representative of king or queen. So there were two designations given to the Governor General now. एक Governor General as a basically administrative head of the company or commercial activities, and second is Viceroy, representative of the king or queen. So these were two designations given, and Lord Canning was the first Viceroy. Lord Canning became the first Viceroy of India or Governor General of India. And this Governor Lord Mountbatten, I will tell you, is the last Viceroy. Later on we will discuss. So Canning became the first Viceroy, and Canning was unlucky because 1857 revolt took place. Entire problems were created by Dalhousie, but Dalhousie went and Canning was unlucky chap. Board of Control and Court of Directors जो पहले बनाए थे कंपनी के लिए वो abolish कर दिए, right? Secretary of State for India, ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट का एक कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट का एक कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट फॉर इंडिया वाज क्रिएटेड. ऑफिस वाज क्रिएटेड इन लंदन ओनली, सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट फॉर इंडिया, एंड वाइसराय वाज टू रिपोर्ट टू हिम. तो इंडिया में वाइसराय रहेंगे और सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट लंदन में रहेंगे और वाइसराय उनको रिपोर्ट करेंगे. एंड उनको हेल्प करने के लिए, सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट को हेल्प करने के लिए एक 15 मेंबर्स की काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया भी बनाई गई. दैट वाज द काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया, 15 मेंबर, दे वर टू हेल्प सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट. सो एंटायर कंट्रोल वाज टेकन बाय ब्रिटिश in British government sitting in London. They started ruling the country directly now. Now what is Indian Council Acts? There are 1861, 1892, 1909. British government felt the need that Indian should cooperation is important. I told you, 1857 mein everybody was against British. No, British thought that if we want to rule the country for more years, hundreds of years, let us say, and after that it ruled 90 more years. So if we want to rule this country more, we need cooperation of people, and hence these new acts they reflected those things. They involved Indian also into more and more administration activities, legislative activities. So this was creation of that. I mean, this is the development was in that direction only. Like Indian Council Act 1861. Indian Council Act 1861. इसमें they started involving in including associating Indians in law making processes. Lord Canning nominated Raja of Banaras, Maharaja of Patiala, and Dinkar Rao to Legislative Council. So Indians were first time nominated to the Legislative Council. I told you, Governor General was having Executive Council and Legislative Council. Executive Council was created in 1773 and Legislative Council was created in 1833. And these councils were having British only as members. But now, first time after this, Indian Council Act 1861. Who made Indian Council Act? Indian Council Act was created by this body, This body was created, council of India. So this body was making the laws, and 1861 में ये बताया गया कि let's include these three people Indian into the executives viceroy's council, legislative council. So जो centralize हो गया था ना ब्रिटिश, अब वो decentralize करना start किया उन्होंने. And earlier entire powers were concentrated in Governor General and in Calcutta, but they now started delegating the powers. Decentralization started, and more powers were given to presidencies of Madras and Bombay. Okay, you rule your own areas. So not very big centralized power. So new legislative councils were created in province, which were provincial legislative councils. I told you the central or Indian legislative council was created earlier in the center. Now provincial legislative councils were also created. So when our country got independence in 1947, there were 11 legislative councils. You understand? So they were in provinces. So Viceroy got power to issue ordinance. Even president has ordinance making power, but for that parliament should not be in session, and the moment parliament comes in session, parliament is to give its agreement to that. But that time Viceroy was having ordinance making power, that means law making powers, even without agreement of legislative council. Indian Council Act 1892. It increased the number of non-official members in central and provincial legislative councils. Non-official members, like this. This is not official members. Non-official members means nominated by Viceroy. Okay, take him. Okay, take him. Okay, take him. Something like that. So they were non-official members, and their number was increased. That was only to make Indians happy and to include Indians, more and more Indians, into the administration activities. So legislative councils were given more power to discuss budget. Legislative councils may, as Indians were entering into the legislative councils. Legislative council is just like parliament, Parliament में क्या होता है? Debate होता है. I mean, the legislative members ask a question from the ministers, executives. Same slowly powers were being given to these executives. I mean, these legislative council members. They could discuss the budget now. They could discuss the budget with the executives and even ask the questions. Viceroy was to nominate some non-official members to these executive councils. So I don't think very much important. Indian Council Act 1892, much important questions may not come from here. Let's go to Morley-Minto reform or Indian Council Act 1909. Very, very important. Minto-Morley reform. Lord Minto was Viceroy, and Morley was the Secretary of State. So by mistake I've written both here wrong. So Lord Minto and Morley-Minto reform, it is called. Minto was Viceroy and Lord Morley was the Secretary of State. Legislative councils number increased. Official majority was retained in Central Legislative Council. Number of people in like Parliament में number बढ़ जाए MPs का. So they kept on increasing the number of people in the legislative councils. Non-official majority in provincial legislative councils was kept. Non-official majority in provincial legislative councils, but official majority in central legislative councils. So that means there was more control of British government in central legislative council. And ज्यादा powerful कौन होती है? अब बताओ मेरे को. Parliament is more powerful or legislative assembly, state parliament? So central legislative council was more powerful, where official majority was there. That means British were having more control there. Now in the previous you saw that budget could be discussed, and now the more power was given. Supplementary question could also be discussed in the legislative council. Satyendra Prasad Sinha became the first Indian to join the executive council of Viceroy, and he became law member. So executive council of Viceroy में पहले कोई भी Indian नहीं होता था. There was no Indian in the executive council of Viceroy, but now Satyendra Prasad Sinha was the first to join, and he became law member also. He became the law member, not minister, but law member. If you ask me, sir, what is the most important question ever asked from these laws, all laws, that is this: separate electorate granted to Muslim. It was the first time separate electorate was granted to Muslim community, and it started the communal, basically, representation in the Indian politics. You know what is separate electorate? You know what is electorate? Voter. Separate means separate. Suppose I am contesting election. मैं election लड़ रहा हूँ for provincial legislative assembly or central legislative assembly. So my voter will only be from my community. If I'm Muslim, then they will only be Muslim. You know, that simply means that they created communal, basically divide and rule. They started playing role. In the history you will study 1905 May Bengal separation was there, and Rabindranath Tagore and all, they were against Bengal separation. And it was the first time in the history of British rule in India कि British को अपना decision वापस लेना पड़ा था against partition of Bengal. They wanted to divide Hindu and Muslims into two parts, but India was not ready. Indian fought back and they said Hindu Muslim unity. अब ब्रिटिश क्या करना स्टार्ट किया, ब्रिटिश ने हिंदुओं और मुसलमानों में डिवीजन डालना स्टार्ट किया. सो सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट ग्रांटेड टू मुस्लिम वाज द फर्स्ट सच डिवीजन. और बाद में आप देखोगे ब्रिटिश ने दैट द ब्रिटिश डिड इट फॉर सिख, फॉर क्रिश्चियन, फॉर एंग्लो इंडियन, फॉर वुमेन एंड इवन फॉर डिप्रेस्ड क्लासेस लेटर ऑन, which is scheduled caste later on, and against which Mahatma Gandhi fought and Pune Pact was signed. I will discuss with you. So what is the most important part? Separate electorate to Muslims, where Muslim could vote only to Muslim, was created in Indian Council Act 1909. So Lord Minto is known as father of communal electorate in India. He only devised this tool. This is how it goes. Montagu Chelmsford Reform is Government of India Act 1919. Lord Chelmsford was Viceroy and Montagu was Secretary of State. Now you know central and provincial legislation को अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट दे दिए गए कि सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली इन सब्जेक्ट्स पे लॉ बनाएगी और प्रोविंशियल इन सब्जेक्ट्स पे लॉ बनाएगी. वो अलग डिवाइड कर दिया. इवन टुडे देयर इज अ यूनियन लिस्ट, देयर इज अ स्टेट लिस्ट, देयर इज अ कंकरेंट लिस्ट. उस टाइम पे उनका नाम यूनियन लिस्ट नहीं था, सेंट्रल एंड प्रोविंशियल सब्जेक्ट्स उन्होंने बना दिया. तो एक सेपरेट लिस्ट बनाना स्टार्ट किया. डुअल सिस्टम ऑफ गवर्नेंस, डेआरकी बोलते हैं उसको, प्रोविंसेस में डेआरकी इंट्रोड्यूस कर दी. दैट मीन्स प्रोविंसेस के अंदर दो तरह का रूल होगा, दो सब्जेक्ट्स का रूल होगा, जिसको डेआरकी बोलते हैं, डुअल सिस्टम ऑफ गवर्नेंस. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट? दैट मीन्स जितने भी सब्जेक्ट्स पे प्रोविंशियल लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली लॉ बनाएगी, जितने भी टॉपिक्स पे वो लॉ बनाएगी, उन टॉपिक्स को दो पार्ट्स में बांट दिया, ट्रांसफर्ड एंड रिजर्व्ड. ट्रांसफर वर्ड to be administered by governor with the help of minister, whereas reserved were to be administered by governor with the help of executives. That means the governor general तो सेंटर में बैठता है, प्रोविंसेस में कौन बैठता है? गवर्नर. तो गवर्नर will make the law on reserved subjects and he will make the law on the reserved subjects with the help of executives, and he will make the law on transferred subjects with the help of legislative councils. So entire subjects जिस पे law बन सकते थे, those subjects were divided into two categories, transferred and reserved. Transferred के ऊपर basically governor बनाएगा with the help of legislative council, and reserved, more important were reserved. तो governor took the power कि if I am to make a law, I will make it with the help of my executive councils. बाइकैमरलिज्म क्या होता है? जिसमें दो हाउस होते हैं, लोअर हाउस एंड अपर हाउस. वो सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल या इंडियन लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल्स में बाइकैमरलिज्म वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड. दैट मींस upper house was created as council of state, lower house was created as legislative assembly. As you know, today also there is a Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So this is one of very very important basically law, Government of India Act 1919. Okay. So if one question will come from here, what that question will be: when was dual system or diarchy introduced in provinces? Answer is Government of India Act 1919. Another concept which is important in this is that direct elections were introduced for both the houses. I mean bicameralism introduce कर दिया, दोनों हाउस बना दिया, और direct elections इनमें introduce कर दिया. People can elect now. 3/6 member of Viceroy's executive councils to be Indian except commander in chief. So commander in chief will be British only, he will not be Indian. Separate electorate were granted. As I told you, separate electorate problem which started in 1909, now it was being expanded to Sikh, Indian, Christian, Anglo-Indian, European, everybody, separate electorate. Franchisee was granted to limited people. Franchisee means casting vote. People could vote now on the basis of, but they need to be qualified. They need to be qualified on the basis of property, tax qualification. You should be there. If you are qualified, if you have paying tax, if you have property, then only you can vote. Central Public Service Commission was created in 1926, and there was one provision created, statutory commission to be created after 10 years. Once this law once this act will come into force. So 1919, and after 10 years statutory commission will be created, and that commission will see ke is act, how this act is working and what are the requirements. You know, British used to make the next law or next document or next constitution for the country, for India, after 10 years. They used to make that. In 1919 they said that after 10 years we will make a statutory commission जो ये देखेगा कि Government of India Act 1919 how it is working. That provision was kept. So these were some of the important points about Government of India Act 1919, which is called Montagu-Chelmsford Reform. Now, what is Simon Commission? You know, Simon Commission was formed in November 1927. 7 members, all British, under Sir John Simon. The commission was created, and it was created under this. But it was to be created in 1929. It was created 2 years before. Why? Because government in Britain was conservative. They wanted कि ये commission जाए, Simon Commission, और कुछ ऐसी recommendation दे जिससे जो British की favor में हो. So they wanted to exploit Indian. So this 7 member, all white member, came to India to see whether everything is okay or not. At that time, Indian National Congress and all these leaders were now strong. Freedom struggle was going on. So everybody was against it. It was created under this provision, as I told you, because there was no member, white, no Indian member. So every political party was against it. You know, Lala Lajpat Rai, he died in the, opposing this Simon Commission in Lahore, and to avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, Bhagat Singh, and all this story we will discuss in the history. So it submitted its report. Simon Commission, anyhow, they went back and they submitted their report, and on the basis of their report, they basically made some kind of white paper on constitutional reform. Okay, next constitution should be like this. On the basis of that, there were 3 discussions held in London. That is called Round Table Conference. So Round Table Conference 1931, 1930, 1931, 1932. So they were on the basis of what? They were on the basis of Simon Commission report. And later on, Government of India Act 1935 is also whatever Simon Commission said. So that became Government of India Act 35. Recommendations were incorporated into Government of India Act 1935. 60% of Government of India Act 1935 is present day constitution, though 40% useless things we removed and the rest we took it. So Simon Commission, 7 member, all white, we opposed, and that was created under Government of India Act 1919 provision. What is Communal Award 1932? Number 1, it was given by Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald. He was the Prime Minister who actually extended separate electorate to depressed classes also. I told you, 3 rounds took place on the discussion of Simon Commission, 30, 31, 32. Indian National Congress did not participate in 2, but only in the second one. When Mahatma Gandhi was requested to participate in Round Table Conference, he went there. And British again were doing divide and rule. Now they started dividing Hindu as community also. They said Hindu are also divided into 2 part. Mahatma Gandhi is representing upper caste Hindu, whereas lower caste Hindus are represented by someone else like Bhimrao Ambedkar and all. They started dividing Indian Hindus also, and Mahatma Gandhi was totally frustrated. He said that what they are doing now. Pehle they separated Muslims from separate electorate to Muslims, communities, Sikh, and now even Hindu also. So wherever they were finding the reason to divide and rule country, they were doing that. Separate electorate was given to this. Mahatma Gandhi sat fast on to death in Pune Yerwada jail. And then some kind of discussion took place between Indian National Congress and leaders of depressed classes, and Pune Pact was signed. As per Pune Pact, separate electorate will not be given to depressed classes. I mean, they will vote, everybody will vote the members. It is not that depressed class can vote only for depressed class, but some reservation will be given. So if somebody asks you reservation to scheduled caste is given first time in history, in which case, so that was a Pune Pact, communal Pune Pact, which was signed between Indian National Congress and leaders of depressed classes. Now last significant act was Government of India Act 1935. It was very, very lengthy and detailed document, something like Indian Constitution. As I told you, it is based upon Simon Commission report, and present day Constitution, 60% part of that is Government of India Act 35. So what is the most important part we need to remember in that? It wanted to create Indian Federation. What is federation word? I will discuss in detail. It wanted to create Indian Federation, where there will be Indian Union also, and princely states will be part of that. But princely states did not accept it later on. Later on, separate electorate was given to depressed classes, women, laborer as per this act. Though this act never came into force because of Second World War started in 1939. So I will discuss that later on. Federal provincial concurrent lists were created. These three lists today are called union, state and concurrent list. So these three lists were created where different subjects were mentioned. Federal list subjects pay rule or law will be made by Central Legislative Council, and provincial pay Provincial Legislative Council, and concurrent list pay both can make it. Whatever is not mentioned in this, those subjects called residual subjects, they were kept with the viceroy only. So residual subjects were kept with the viceroy only. Residual powers given to viceroy. डायरकी इन द प्रोविंसेस वर अबॉलिश्ड. डायरकी मैंने बताया ना कि ट्रांसफर्ड सब्जेक्ट, रिजर्व सब्जेक्ट्स, प्रोविंसेस में उसको हटा दिया, लेकिन उसको कहां पे इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया? सेंटर में इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया. Provinces में provincial autonomy was given. Provincial autonomy, like provincial legislative council can make the laws. Bicameralism was now introduced into 6 out of 11 provinces. Reserve Bank of India was established, and Federal Public Service Commission was also created. So if you ask me that, sir, what we should remember in Government of India Act 35, word federation you remember. Federation, Federal Public Service Commission, Federal Court, all federal. Federation word I will discuss with you. As of now you understand federal means center. So that means the union government. So that was somewhere it was introduced, and these were the most important parts in Government of India Act 35. Last act was Indian Independence Act 1947. Prime Minister Clement Attlee overtook Winston Churchill. He left, he was defeated in the election, and Clement Attlee became the prime minister, and he gave the date on 20 Feb 1947. He came out with the date that by 30th June 1948 we will leave your country and we will make you independent. Power will be transferred to some responsible Indian hand. Now what is that responsible Indian hand? It was to be seen. Muslim League demanded the partition, and Lord Mountbatten came with the partition plan, which is called June 3rd plan. This is called June 3rd plan. So this is basically partition plan, and declared India free on 15th August 1947. So what is June 3rd plan? Mountbatten discussed with the Indians and Muslim leagues how you want to partition, and that everything was discussed there. Two independent dominion of India and Pakistan were created, and they became the part of British Commonwealth also. So two dominions were created. As far as the post of viceroy was concerned, viceroy was representative of the crown. Post of viceroy were removed, and governor general was only the post left. So constituent assemblies were created for India and Pakistan, and they were to make constitution for them, right? Abolished office of Secretary of State, which was in London, that was abolished, and princely states were given the power to join either Indian dominion or Pakistan dominion or become free. Either you can join India or Pakistan or become free. So Hyderabad, Junagadh, Jammu and Kashmir, they were princely states. They decided that we want to be free, and that was the reason India and Pakistan started fighting for them. Lord Mountbatten became the first Governor General of independent India, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah became the first Governor General of Pakistan. Jawaharlal Nehru was sworn in as Prime Minister, and Constituent Assembly itself became the first provincial parliament. So as you can see, Lord Mountbatten is sworn in ceremony of Jawaharlal Nehru as a Prime Minister is taking place here. So first cabinet of free India, you see, Jawaharlal Nehru was Prime Minister, Vallabhbhai Patel was the Home Minister, Rajendra Prasad Food and Agriculture Minister, Education Minister was Maulana Azad, first Railway Minister John Mathai, first Finance Minister Ambedkar became first Law Minister, Health Minister was Rajkumari Amrit Kaur, she was the first Health Minister. So this was the first cabinet of free India, as you can see them. Free India ka first cabinet. Understand? So I think Rajagopalachari, he was the, when Lord Mountbatten left, then first Indian Governor General after 26 January 1950, president post came, but before that first Governor General, Indian Governor General was C. Rajagopalachari. Very astute statesman and very good politician. He became the first Governor General. Mountbatten was after independent first Governor General, but he left it, and then first Indian Governor General was C. Rajagopalacharya. I hope you have understood some part of this legislation. You need to listen to this video again and again. Lot of information overloading is here. Listen to this again and again, and most important points I will give you in the PDF form. Learn that. That is more than sufficient. So each act by crown or by company, and what is the most important part of that. Thank you.